people always ask me like, okay, what do you do for a living? And my response is literally, I'm an entrepreneur in the food media space, right? So I thrive on building ecosystems that make people feel comfortable around food, and I monetize each level of those particular ecosystems, right? So I don't look at myself and go, I'm in the food service industry. I look at myself as a social media influencer who's built an ecosystem and has monetized that ecosystem, right? Because without this idea of a brand, without this idea of an ecosystem, Darius Cooks does not exist. So all of the energy and effort that I put in,
look at somebody else's page, get inspired. Don't, and get your ideas. I'm not even gonna say don't copy, because that's why we're here. We're here to inspire you, to make you want to take what we did and make it better, right? That's what we're here for. So at the end of the day, continue to get inspired by other people. Always put out content, great content. Social media is huge. I got my first NBC pilot because the producer watched my Instagram all the time. They watch my Instagram, they see my food, and they just decided like, damn, we really want you to be on this NBC television show. Because you looked at my Instagram, because I was consistent, because the color looks great. Stop putting up these fucking pictures of this food where the camera is fuzzy, it's moving. Be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, be intentional. If you're gonna do it, do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not judging. But if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do a video, let it be crisp, let it be clean. Let your
walk into it. I can cook what I want to cook. I don't really have a budget for food. I can cook what I want, how I want. The people that I'm working with, they love me, and I'm making good money, and my name is out there a little bit, And man, I just look at it and I'm like, damn, I have finally won the damn lottery. You know what I mean? And wow. And just like you put that dollar and you pay that tip.
What up, everybody? It's me, your boy, Chef Ponder, for another episode, Chefpreneur Academy. Today, we got a treat. I'm starting to bring guests back on the show. Last couple of Tuesdays, it's been me on here by myself, which is great. But now it's time for you guys to hear from other people in the industry. And this one young lady, I've been following her Instagram for a while. Phenomenal in the culinary aspect. A lot of great things going on. She's a chefpreneur. She's a healer. She's a chef, teacher, holistic. I'm sorry. Let me start it over. Women's heal, and she'll probably correct me, but she's a holistic healer, chef, all that good stuff. Food is for the soul. Food is for the healing, man. Healing starts in the kitchen. This young lady has been doing it. Great endeavors. She's always all over the place. I always ask her, is she in the United States? But she does a great job, though. I'm going to let her properly introduce herself because I probably slaughtered that. But she's a great person, man. And I wanted to get her on the show today and talk to her and pick her brain and just find out some information on her journey, where she's been, where she's headed, what she got going on, and just kind of how she overcame a lot of things. And without further ado, let's bring on Chef Ameera. Chef.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How's it going?
It's going great. It's spring. We just had an equinox, and
Happy New Year.
Yes, happy. It is really the new year. For me, it is the new year, and so it is for the earth. So if it's the new year for the earth, it's the new year for me.
For sure. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and kind of a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Chef Ameera, and I am the food alchemist. I am a healer, and I heal through food. I also heal through other modalities. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, actually third generation in Los Angeles. And I have been, in the culinary industry since 2005, 6-ish, I'm going to say. 5, that was when the seed was planted. And I finally took the leap in 2006 after I got fired. So, and that was to push me in my direction. But I've been cooking since I was 8 years old. So I was born with this gift. And it took a while for the universe will guide you towards where your gifts and where your talents are. And it just took a while for me to finally say, you know what, I'm going to be a chef. But I have always, since I was 8, I have loved food. I have had, as I say, I have an intimate relationship with food. Food, it speaks to me. And yes, I love food. So I finally took that leap in 2006, and I was very clear on who I was going to work with. I said I was going to work with celebrities, athletes, high profile executives. I was very clear as to who my demographic was. I knew, first and foremost, I knew how to serve. I knew the lifestyle I wanted to live. And that's what I did. And it almost seemed like it happened overnight, because within that first year, the level of clients I was getting, it actually scared me. I almost felt like I wasn't worthy, because I was like, oh my gosh. It was because I didn't go to culinary school. So a lot of people would be like, what culinary school did you go to? And I would say, oh, I went to the school of the universe. And they would chuckle. I'm like, no, seriously, I was born with this gift. I didn't go to culinary school, but my dad had a restaurant. I've been doing this since I was young. What I did not have was maybe the technical training in and out of the kitchen, and that I got through. In the very beginning of my career, I was working at a catering company called Trey LA, which they do all high profile events. We've done them, when I was working with them, we cooked for everyone. And yeah, so that's where I got my technical training, which is on the job. And from there, I flourished. Lots of bumps in the road, as entrepreneurship is. At heart, I'm an entrepreneur as well. But yeah, no, this was the path that I was to be on. And now that has evolved into me really taking the culinary, and it is my foundation, but really focusing on the healing arts and really showing people how to heal through food, as, just understanding where we are right now in this state of time. Food can still be enjoyable, and it's not like you can't have those things, but eating them every day, it just doesn't have the life force that the body needs right now where we are at this moment in time. So I am following what I've been told to do. We all have our purpose here. My purpose is to, really show people that they have the ability to heal themselves. And we do it through food. We do it through a few other modalities, but yes.
Wow. So what are some things that have helped to shape your career path? I heard you say earlier that you kind of made a target, or you sought goals, which is something I talk to chefs about a lot, is setting your goals and being intentional in this industry. So what are some things that help influence your path? What are people, opportunities?
Let's actually, as I reflect back on my path, so I had goals on, great, this is who I want to cook for, because the culinary industry I didn't really understand just the career. Quite honestly, at the time, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I had got fired from my job. I knew what gifts that I had. I knew how to serve, and I knew that I knew how to cook. I knew how to cook, and it tasted amazing. And I knew this from a young age. And so I was like, I'm going to be a chef. It just came to me, I'm going to be a chef. And so I didn't have great, so in 5 years, I'm going to do this. Eventually, what I did was I found chefs that inspired me. I loved, oh goodness, what was her name? Donna Hay. She was actually she's I would say the Australian Martha Stewart. I love B. Smith, and then there were a few, Along Came Mary, which was a huge catering company. They did all of the, Grammys. I had looked at them. That was the model that I was following at first. And as I evolved, I'm like, I don't want that capacity. I like actually to be more intimate with my clients. I like to focus on intimate events, maybe 150 max. And I don't want to do those all the time, because that requires building a certain level of team. And that was not what I wanted. I like the small events. I like to be intimate with my clients. And I also like to travel. And so you can't have both of those. My freedom is more important. I learned that along the way, because, you can, when you are working with your private clients, it is very demanding on your time. And so over the time, I had to just understand, this isn't working for me, or I need more me time. But that took a while. Like Lily, that took a while for after, that I was doing this for some time. But in the beginning, it just was, you're just eager. You're just, okay, I'm ready to grow. I'm building my career. And I didn't have a mentor, and I didn't quite have a plan. But what I did was, like I said, I saw, oh, great, I love how that is. Let me just do my research and let me ask some questions. Right. But at the time, I just couldn't, like the mentors that I did find, they just weren't they just really did not want to be a mentor at the end of the day. Maybe they said they did, but it just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, they playing
and
around.
So, exactly. So I just did things on my own, and I made a lot of mistakes on my own. And from those mistakes, what I do love about that is that it just helped me carve my pathway at what worked best for me, because I was not even meant to follow that pathway, but I did get a lot from just, working in those events and just learning from those chefs. Like, that's not what I want to do at the end of the day anyway, So I use those, whether those rejections or those mistakes, just help mold me, and also teach other chefs that work with me. And just, this is how you do things, or like, this is what it's best for. Like, that's something I like to ask even my chefs, like, what is your vision for you for the next year? Just so then I even know just kind of what to pour into you, because there's a lot of, I'll just say, downloads information that I get when I'm working with someone. I'm going to pour into you when you're working with me. That's what I'm going to do. If I can't pour into you, then you're just not going to be in my
That's
atmosphere.
Too. Right.
I'm big about pouring into, like, that's just naturally what I do. So,
that's huge.
But some people, they don't want to grow. So that's going to show up. Maybe it's going to show up in self-sabotage, or they're saying one thing, but their actions are speaking a different way. And so, I look at a lot of that as well.
Wow. That's the part I was telling you about earlier before we got started on the show. Was I noticed that there was just a lack of mentorship in the industry. And I was fortunate enough to come in when I was 17, professionally cooking at 17 when I joined the military. And there were a lot of older cooks around me who do the same thing, kind of poured into us, gave us kind of the ins and outs, the culinary, the cheat code. And I did go to culinary school through the military, but it was, later I went to real culinary school. But like, thinking back, it was like, man, it was just whatever, basic. But that mentorship piece was a piece that I hold dear to, and that's why I created the Chefpreneur Academy, was to create mentorship for the younger chefs to not make the same mistakes. And I've, like you mentioned, I've failed forward to the point where I'm fearless on anything. Like, I'm not afraid to fail anything, and it's typically the first hiccup. A lot of people, they're just afraid to try because they're afraid to fail, and I'm over the failure part. I just wish I had somebody to mentor me earlier on, so I had to go through all those trials and tribulations. But
I'm in agreement.
They make us the people we are now. They make us the great people we are now. And I think a lot of younger chefs, when I say younger chefs, not just in age, just in the industry, a lot of younger chefs are spinning their wheels now on the social media. And I crack jokes a lot about it, but the TikTok chefs and the Insta chefs, during COVID, it was an explosion of people diving into food and experiment with food, and people had a chance to binge watch Food Network, and people learned a lot of terms, and it seemed like this social media explosion just happened. And the part that did rub me the wrong way about it all, can't do anything about it. I sound like an old sour hip hop head now, but I know a lot of great chefs, like personally. I mean, New York, James Beard Award, Michelin star chefs, like the Tweezer chefs. I know them personally, a couple of them. And their social media, they probably got like 300, 400 followers. They gave a crack at posting and stuff like that, but they don't have the willpower. They don't care, first of all. A lot of them don't care. And a lot of them are just, they didn't make the transition very well over to the social media age. And you see a lot of chefs now, they just open a pack of top ramen, throw some cheese on it, put some seafood on it, and it goes viral. That's the only part about it, the Insta chefs that kind of bother me. Other than that, I love everybody. I want to see everybody doing well. I'm always commenting on other chefs' posts. I'm always resharing other chefs' posts. And it's my desire to build a network amongst us. I may not have an attribute I may have to call you for. I may need to schedule a healing session with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whatever other chefs have to contribute, I want to build a network, conglomerate, where we could just talk and exchange information and I don't know, text each other.
Well, what I say right now, the timing is perfect, because I look at It's energy. It's even understanding a recipe. Here, there's a recipe. We know if we don't have these ingredients, the recipe isn't going to turn out right. So if we look at energetically where we're at, we have really Pluto is in Aquarius. Aquarius is the collective. So Pluto is breaking down things that are not working for the collective. So right now, community is big. Community works for the collective. So right now, that's why we are even seeing people who are really focusing on building their community, because that's where we are going to. That is actually how we're going to move into this next era, because we are being ushered into a new era when it comes into chat GPT, AI, these things. Yes. You're not going to be able to try to be solo as you once were before. It's going to take community, and doesn't mean that you won't have enough, because that literally was falsehood. There within community, it actually just we will be able to pour into each other when our gas tank is low. And then literally you're not going to take another client from anybody. That has to leave. And that's why a lot of times you didn't have people who were doing those things, because it's not even just a crabs in a barrel. That just was, okay, if I help this person, they're not going to help me. And guess what? That probably might have happened. But if everyone has the same mindset and their heart is in the right place, we're dealing with the heart now, things will go according. They will move forward. That's just because that's called universal law. But everybody has to be on that one accord and come together, and things will move forward. Like that's universal law. So when we can get all on that accord and we all have that agreement, then things will move forward. Like literally, it's when you understand how, it's kind of like when you take in math, you have 2 to the second power is 4, or 3 to the third power is 9, or however the math is. That's really how spiritual power works. When you all come together, it's not just like 5 people together. No, it is quantified when you have that power together and you all are on one accord. So, and you have those people that align with that. Yes.
No, let me cut you out. Keep going.
So when you understand, it's not like, okay, when even in scripture, when 2 or more come together, it's done. That's a very simplified way to put it. We can go take it into quantum and we can go look at how this goes, but understanding when you have being of heart and mind, not just the mind. Before it was the mind, especially now that we've had this eclipse. No, the heart has to be in the right place and the mind has to be aligned there. And then you can move forward. If those 2 are not aligned, then it will not work. So having those 2 together and moving forward, yes, it will happen. And we definitely need community right now, especially when it comes into chefs. And every chef has what they're supposed to do. You have some people who, yes, are Insta chefs, but quite honestly, a lot of those recipes don't work. And I've heard this from my aunts who love all that stuff, who buy all that stuff, who are like, the recipes don't work.
It don't work.
But it's entertainment. And that's not all of them, but it is entertainment. Yeah. Understanding that you have to understand the proper context of what it is. It is entertainment. So let it entertain. That is what it is for. Even Food Network, yes, it's entertainment, but also Food Network, they have recipe, they have somebody test it, they have there's so many other things that go on before that even gets out, and you have one person that's working it. So I really look at I have a holistic. So even when I talk about being a healer, I look at things holistically. I look at all of the different components, not just one component when I'm speaking about something. I like to look at all the components. And so, and that's once we start to, and that just takes a level of maturity and just understanding to, okay, actually, let me view it this way. Okay, let me view it this way. Okay, I can see how that's right. I can see how I'm right, and I can see how they're right. Just putting it like that. So, yes, the mindset has to shift, and the heart has to lead, and the mind follows. There we go. Once that happens, your life, everybody, the whole world is going to change. That's what we're waiting. We're waiting for things to change outside of us. No, it happens here. And then we all know, understanding quantum physics is that we attract, your vibe attracts your tribe. Well, what's your vibe like? That also goes with your experiences. And as we shift those things, everything's going to shift. But I can't force anybody to change, but I do what I'm supposed to do. Those who are called to work with me. And I've done this through my food. I couldn't explain it before. I was like, my food, people like, explain your food. And or why is it so special? I'm like, because it's me. I would be working with business coaches from the very first of my career. I don't know how to explain it, but I know because I have healing energy. I understand when it comes into flavors. I know how to put flavors together. Yet I still also know how to make sure that we have some life force left in here as well. That's my style. It's vibrant. It's great. I've been cooking Caribbean food since before I even went to the Caribbean. Once I went to the Caribbean, I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, y'all are literally the food that is about to come up out of these hands right now is going to be next level.
I
And
belong
literally,
here.
like, yes, and I do. I really, really do, down to a past life. That's actually that's how I would say, like, was my wake-up call to start cooking was actually Hurricane Katrina. I was coming back from the Bahamas and I was on a plane with me and my kids and the plane almost crashed, like going down, Mayday, Mayday.
What?
Like, yes, Mayday, Mayday. Like, everybody's on the plane is looking. There's a lot of things even before then that happened to where I was not supposed to get on that plane, but I ignored them. I was not in the right mind space. I was like, I can't afford to stay. And me and my kids were on that plane. It was like Mayday, Mayday. He was trying to radio in to do an emergency landing somewhere. Like, and then we were trying, like, and like, not even like he didn't have control. Like, the plane was going down. And then, you know, this goes back into visualization, which we're going to get into even when it comes into like what young chefs or anyone should be doing in the kitchen or outside the kitchen. I was visualizing negatively, like, oh my gosh, my family's going to be devastated. And then in like the next second, I was like, I'm not going out like this. I was like, I came here to do something. Like, I came on this earth to do something.
It ain't time
and
yet.
When I tell you the plane, he got in control of that plane. We tried to do an emergency landing in Miami. They were like, no, we had to go all the way back to the Bahamas. I was in shambles the next day, like my nervous system. But after that, it took a few months, but I was like, I don't like my job, whatever. I'm just here taking long breaks. Eventually I got fired. And then, I was like, damn, I'm gonna pay my bills. But then I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna be a chef. I'm gonna work with boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm gonna do. I had got a whole download. Here's my logo. Here's this, here's that, here's that. And it just, but that was like the beginning of me understanding, coming on into that I am presence that was within myself.
Right.
And I was working on that as I was like working with clients and just, you know, knowing my intuition and just really understanding how to navigate my way within building my career and just really in the kitchen and filling out my clients' feelings and what they wanted and what would be good. Because my clients, unless they like requested something, which is rarely, it's just I have free range. It's just like, okay, whatever, what are we having today or whatever you do, they just would like let me do whatever it is I'm doing. Some clients, maybe they needed to heal. One of my clients that I was working with in 2021, he actually had cancer, needed to lose weight, was pre-diabetic, and first month lost 20 pounds. And within working with me, he had lost within that year 85 pounds, no cancer, no diabetes. So, you know, I just knew exactly, and it wasn't vegan. So even a lot of that, you have to eat like this. No, you don't. You don't have to.
Diet change.
It was a diet change, but also I had to read his energy, and I needed to know what was best for him. If I had put him on an all vegan diet, he would have cheated. And I knew this. So I needed to find out, really just sit with his energy. There's things that I do on what was going to work best for him. So I knew I needed to take out sugars. I knew I needed to take out everything processed. I knew I needed to take out a few other, like no dairy, and I kept in like a small amount of meat, and everything else was just vegan. I cooked everything. I had certain tonics that flushes lymphatic, that flush different things, and boom, 85 pounds later, cancer-free, no diabetes.
Wow.
So yeah,
that is crazy.
And it tasted good on top of that. It wasn't nasty, because we don't do nasty food. Because let me tell you something, if it doesn't taste good, I don't want to eat it. That's me. So I make things that taste good, but and I have some things that maybe, not that it's not healing, it's just not going to cause if you eat this every day, you can't eat this every day.
Right.
But it's really having that balance. Like I just had my Elevate Your Vibration. That's the name of my cleanse. And I'll say my movement is elevating your vibration. So I have a 2-week vegan chakra cleanse that I created that literally through the pandemic, I have messages. People said this saved my life, because I was really focusing on eating living food, and then also just allowing you just to get back in touch with your vibration, because there's so many different things you're eating. Food that has been like tainted in the lab, that's cooked by people who don't want to be there, all of these different things. Well, that's going to affect your vibration. And once you just really clear that out, we set intentions, we do breathing. There's a few different, there's a process and a formula that I go through even outside of the food, where I help take the body through that just helps change your vibration. It transforms you. And that's what I do. So
now,
that's
one of the things I talk about in the cooking classes I do, but it's part of my motivation as well with my cooking classes, is to teach us how to eat, what we should be eating. And I took it serious before, but I took it real serious years ago. My grandmother passed away from diabetes. And I just, when I found out that type 2 diabetes was curable through diet, which she suffered from type 2 diabetes. I'm from the South. We call it the sugar. Our grandparents and aunties having sugar was a common thing. My mom even said one time when I was younger that it's hereditary. Your grandma had it, your granddad had it, I had it, and I figured out it wasn't the diabetes type 2 that was hereditary. It was the recipes being passed down that everybody kept using the same recipes. The
habits. Habits
yeah,
are hereditary. Habits are hereditary, but that's not. Yes, exactly.
Part. So now I go get my certification for certified nutritionist. I still want to do certified dietitian as well because I started to take the food science a little more serious. Now in my classes, I talk about eating according to your blood type. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that if that works for you, that's what you should do. That's for me. At the end of the day, that works. Guess what? We have someone who's talking about being all raw and vegan, and there are people that works for them. That is what you should do. Then we have people who are pescatarians, and that works for him, and that is what you should do. But I believe that everybody, and this is in my journey and what my science that comes to me, just the science, just the spirit, is that everybody should be cleansing throughout the year. And when you do cleanse, like pulling everything out, like nothing processed, like, so if you want to call it vegan or plant-based or whatever, I like to say plant-based. But if you do that, literally you're going to allow the body to cleanse and detoxify itself. And you'll be able to listen to that inner voice to know what's best for you, regardless even what I'm saying. You might say, you know what, Chef Ameera, that's great for you, but that doesn't work for me. You'll know what works for you, but everybody should do that because you're going to go through a process of where these cells are really at a cellular level. You're going to cleanse, and just not at a cellular level, down to the DNA. Certain things is going to activate certain things in your DNA. Is going to come online, and you're going to feel different. It's going to evolve your soul. It's going to, when it comes into your level of awareness and when it comes into your consciousness, it is going to elevate you in that way. When you do that, you allow, because you're going to literally take away certain things that have been suppressing certain positive DNA expressions, and you're going to clear that out so they can express themselves, and you will literally have that I am presence come online, and you're going to do things differently because you're not doing things just for the flesh. You're doing things outside of what's just for the flesh.
For sure. Chef Ameera, you know what? I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it.
Well, yeah, that's...
Listen. So
as I say, come for the food, stay for the transformation.
There's something I do. I got to give you a bomb drop, man, for all the heat you just gave us. Everybody's mind is blown like, what the world is happening? That's right. I try to tell y'all.
Yeah, that yes, I know. They say don't let the smile fool you. I have that heat, but I'm here to transform because this is 1988. This is not 2000. We have shifted, and we need to actually elevate our vibration to where we're at. You know,
Sure.
And that's what I've come to do. That's what I've come like actually putting this forward because I was focusing on my like celebrity chefs and that is not my focus. It's still there. I'm going to do events, but my focus is elevate your vibration. My focus is my retreats. My focus are my bespoke events where I create transformation. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a kumbaya or like we're in a healing retreat. I'm going to have a dinner party. And just as right here, you didn't expect this. That's what I do. We're going to eat and I'm going to give you some words that really food for the soul. And I'm going to cause those DNA explosions to happen within. That's what I'm going to do. Yep. And we're going to do it. I'm just going to create those environments that what I'm guided to be created because I create different environments for where people are at in their journey. I'm going to meet you where you're at. Sometimes I can't come too low, but I'm going to meet you where I can't come too low, but I am going to meet you where you are at in your journey. So it might just be, okay, great. Oh, Chef Ameera is having this Black Girl Magic brunch, or Chef Ameera is having this, whatever it is over here in Atlanta or LA. And then Chef Ameera, she's having meet her in Morocco because we're going to go do a food culinary. Like I'm going to have these different experiences that even if you don't come for, like I'm coming for the healing, you're going to get the healing regardless of whatever it is. Whenever you're ready, I will deposit the seeds. You will water them.
So let me ask you this question. How difficult or easy is it to put together a retreat outside of the U.S.?
I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, I already have mine.
You have a team?
August, I do have a team. I have my team that I work with. I have my people. It's not difficult. It just requires, I don't put it last minute together. It's because I have, like, great, let me make sure the energy's right here. And once I think about it and I see the vision, my spiritual team comes together and just lays the groundwork for it. Like, that's how I operate.
Wow.
But that's how I operate. But just to let you know, this is how we operate. We just forgot. This is how we operate. When we try to go everything in the head, no. I'm telling you, when you see it, when the vision is popped, when you know, there might, not to say that there's not going to be any challenges, but you've already seen it. It's there.
Right.
Like, that's it. Even like today, what I had planned to do this morning, like when I tell you, like I was drowsy and my spiritual team was like, actually I was talking to my friend and she was like, maybe the ancestors have a message for you in a dream. I said, let me go ahead and do that. And I literally laid down. I was up early. I was like, yes, I'm up early, but I was like, let me lay down and let me see if ancestors have a dream. And literally when I tell you, it was so vivid. It has nothing to do with this right here, but everything at the same time. Like, I got the messages. Like, that's also part of the work. That's also, if you understand what our ancestors, if you can go even look back at an ancient Kemetic calendar, and you will see they have festivals and all these amazing things because they didn't do a lot of work per se, because this is how the capitalistic system has been created. But we didn't do a lot of our work was in the spiritual realm, so that we got a chance to enjoy this human life, because we came here to experience this. And so we just need to get back to that. And it's not going to happen overnight, but as soon as we do understand and we have that in mind, things will shift.
Listen, so I have to have an honest moment. Now I'm gonna ask you a question about this post. So I also run another program where I call myself the Minister of Information, and I deal with history. I deal with science and a lot of other conscious information that you're dropping right now. But I've never merged the two, the culinary and the history part together.
The food alchemist.
Right. And to hear you talk, I'm hearing everything you're saying on the conscious level. Like, yeah, that's it. Like, talk that talk. You know what I'm saying? I never merged the two together, but you're giving me second thoughts to revisit that idea, because I do want to do something. I love history. I love history. Like, that's my first love of history. I want to do something where I kind of marry the history of food, but like give a real in-depth.
There's been so many different things. I believe it's done. I think that you just ask for it. Don't try to do it on your own in your mind. Ask the answer. How are you trying to go back in history and you haven't yet consulted the ancestors on that? That's the problem. That's why you haven't been able to do the two. But as soon as you do that, that's when it's going to come together.
Gotcha.
And that's a direct message for you. That wasn't just me saying that. Like, that was a message for you.
It's received. It's received. So I want to shift gears to this post I've seen, because this kind of leads to some other stuff with food. I've seen this post floating around a couple times, right? And before we dive into it, this is something that I teach on a lot, is food costs. And a lot of people don't understand the importance of food costs, food procurement, inventory, all those things. And man, I can't tell you how many chefs, how many catering companies, how many restaurants. I'm on my 5th restaurant right now that I'm helping to do some consulting work with. And it's always the same problem. I'm just going to say it. A lot of Black-owned restaurants I've helped so far, and chefs that I know personally, are struggling with food costs, costing their food out properly putting out invoices, and how to charge a client for a gig. So this post that I saw, I didn't read all of it, because it looks like it's basically saying that talking about food costs or just labor costs?
Basically, it just went into, that was their whole thing. I know it was like, it said $2,800 for 50 people for that spread, which I was like, honey, like my rate is already half of that. So I can guarantee you that wouldn't be for me. Like, but I understand, like basically it was saying that somebody wanted to pay them less. And so quite honestly, even for that right there, like for me, now for somebody else in another state, that might work. But I can guarantee you there are a lot of other chefs who are doing like this, not realizing, and I understand it's because why? We have bills to pay. We are coming from struggling. We just want the gig, not really thinking that that's too low. And what that does is it messes the whole industry up. Nobody's thinking that. I completely understand. In the beginning of my career, I wasn't thinking that either. Although at the beginning of my career, I just had rates that this is my rate. I mean, well, not the very beginning. When I started to do events, that's when, like personal chefing things, okay. When it came into when I first started doing catering, I didn't understand like the costing. I did not understand, that like literally you have a rate and then there's your food costs. And then also within those food costs, you need to put your rate and you need to put the rate for your team, because that's prep work. But this isn't taught. And how I learned was I worked for a caterer who was ran by somebody who did not look like me. And my friend was the one who put me on, because she was a receptionist. She was like, let me show you our invoices. Let me show you how we do it. I was like, oh, That's why I'm broke.
Right.
Thank you. But
Right.
it's not taught. And also there just has to be a mind. I understand. You have to understand where you're coming from. We have been struggling, and that's generally how it is because the financing isn't there. And so you do what you can. But as soon as the mindset shifts, and we at least have a few people who are on board, like, no, I'm not going to do that, then it will shift. But, you know, you still have people want to eat. People need to eat. And people, for one, they don't know. Two, when they do know how to do better, then they will do better, you know? But they don't know right now. People are struggling. And as you said, that people, like a lot of people don't have those mentors. They either don't have the mentors they reached out, or they reached out and they didn't go about it the right way. And they don't really value that. They feel entitled to having the information, you know, or they just don't know how to ask out. And they just, you know, because I can relate to all of those. So
now that's one key thing that I always talk to personal chef, private chef, caterers, because I also write curriculums for a new platform called Magnolia University out of Maryland, and they hired me to actually create and help curate their food costs, menu development, inventory, all that nuggets that chefs need to know. And I'm talking to the chefs, and it's like 30 of them. And I'm basically asking them to walk me through their invoice. And everybody missed charging for themselves. A lot of caterers don't charge for their equipment. And I had to teach them. I say, listen, off of every gig you get, you should be reserving 10 to 15% of whatever you earn to buy more products. Like you should be buying your own plates, create your own inventory of plates, forks, napkins, knives, so you can recharge that equipment back out to your clients. So it's essentially your clients are, getting paid for your labor, whatever it looks like. And when I ask the question, what are you worth an hour? And I've asked at least 100 chefs in my career, what are you worth an hour? And it's always the eyes drop to the floor, the head shake, and they try to figure out their value. So one thing I teach at Chefpreneur Academy is understanding your value. Whether you went to culinary school or not, you have a value. And I teach them how to basically go off that value chart. Some say $25 an hour, $50 an hour, blah, blah, blah. I say, you can charge what you want to charge. You know what I'm saying? Just be able to deliver that type of service. And why aren't you charging for your equipment? Why aren't you charging for your time? An average personal private chef in the state of Atlanta averages off of a gig about $1,200 profit.
That's okay. $1,200 profit. Okay.
Profit.
And so that's
how they're
any
charging
event
is,
or like, okay.
How they're charging is they're charged $2,800 flat out, and to them that's a lot of money. Anybody's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not. But
I know. I already know. My body will tell me. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, honey. No.
But what they do is, listen, they take $2,800. They'll spend $1,200 on the essentials, the food, maybe one or two people to help out, whatever the case is, and they'll pocket the remaining balance. And to them, that's a great gig for them. Until you show them you're not charging for your time properly, you're not charging for your equipment, you're not costing your food out, you're losing money. So a lot of them are chasing the carrot, trying to get multiple gigs in a week. And I try to teach them, you can get one gig that'll knock that gig out of the water. Like the example on your Facebook page, $2,800 should be just your chef fee. If you know.
Oh yeah, once you go through what your fee is, plus if whatever the per person rate, because that's also your fee is in there. That's the food plus that. Then I totally understand that as well. But that's not like, it's not taught. And I know because it was like, although it's not taught, it was taught to me literally because it was a gift for me. Those are like gifts. Like I was placed because I followed what I was supposed to be doing and I just paid attention. My friend, she was like, look, here's the invoice. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why I've been broke. Okay, I got it. And even you work with some clients, here and there, but for the most part, if you are, now you're going to say, now what? Go ahead, say that.
Now, another thing I did here in the past 3 years that I've been screaming at chefs about, nobody wants to hear me about it, and that's fine. It's food service government contracting. I thought about it. I just I'm like, you can talk to me about it. And if I'm like, let's just partner on something, because all that, But
I'm over
here's the
here. I'm
thing,
gonna work
Chef.
on this realm of it. Yes.
You don't have to be there. I'm not saying you go cook anywhere at all. So
but it's a process of going to get the contracting, right? Like setting
I'm already
yourself
in.
up. Okay, so so chefs don't want to work for you. So what was the problem? I want to get to this.
When I try to pass the mic, say, hey, you should go get your own thing set up.
I mean, show me how to do it. I'm great. I'll put a team together. Show me how to do it. I don't need to be in the kitchen. I'm good. I will be over in the island somewhere. Here you go.
When you do a 2-week gig feeding 400 troops, 2 meals a day, you walk away with 40 grand.
Oh,
you're not even there.
Let's do this. Okay.
And you're not even there. You know, you just send your team. You do have to send a trusted team lead, which is probably a senior cook.
Of course.
To make sure. And
you have to make sure that you're staffed properly, you know. And
you're not tweezering food, or you open and it's the military. They got to eat and go out the door. They ain't got time for the pretty stuff.
Yeah, that's so you're talking about like some rasta pasta, something. I got you. Exactly.
That's fancy. I'm talking about yakisoba. I'm talking about chili mac. I'm talking about
so that's like the main. So then that could be. Well, that's something. I mean, those who have ears will hear. So there are some people who are interested. Great. That probably is the bread and butter. So you can focus on those other beautiful creative projects, you know? And so that I could definitely see that.
Facts. So when I tell chefs, I say, listen, there's another alternative food service government contract. You can make 3 times as much. There's a company called Wedding Wire, and Wedding Wire just merged with I forgot the Wedding Planner. And they have packages where a chef can pay, I think, $380 a month, and they can guarantee you 16 to 20 leads a month for weddings. So out of 16 to 20 leads, you figure if you decide to take 5 weddings a month, which is a lot, because my hotel can't do but about 1 a year. It's a lot to do weddings, but there's other opportunities out there that chefs who are struggling to find work, consistent work, can look into. And the government contracting is definitely one, and places like Wedding Wire is definitely one. But going back to the original point, knowing how to price your food, pricing your menu out is important, chefs. Chefs are still guessing at menus. They're still guessing prices for menus. And if that works for you, fine. But I'm telling you, if you actually sit down one Sunday with a glass of wine and just take time, they got software out here now. You can plug in the numbers, save your receipts from Kroger and Walmart, and plug the numbers in, and it'll cost it out for you. You'll make so much more money by costing your food out properly. You'll make so much more money by understanding your value, your hourly rate, and what it's supposed to be. Because a lot of people are just cooking. A lot of people who just love to cook, I'm not hating, because you're the ones I'll hire. If you love to cook, come over here and cook, because I don't like cooking like that. Yes, I said it.
I love it. Well, being clear on what you want and what you can. I think that right now, what you've shared is great for, I think, those people who really want to take their career to the next level when it comes into their catering, or if they're looking to do contracting, that would be perfect. They definitely should come talk to you for that. And for those people who want to, if you really want to learn how to be whole within and attract those clients that you really desire, if you want those higher end clients, that comes from within. That doesn't come just from you might get a few of them just because you're cooking good on the gram, but to be able to maintain that and to have it effortlessly flow, then that's an internal job. Then come see me. And, I have some things that can get you right.
I'll let her.
That is what I do. I also, like I said, I still do amazing events. I do I mentor a few students like offline. I've done a few different things that I've cut off just because most people, they just don't appreciate it. But I'm working on right now. This is my focus. I do have a pen and something culinary related. Those who want to not just cook, but they also want to focus on the healing aspect as well. Because I've seen a lot of, this is healthy and it's not healthy at all. But it's not in my place.
You gotta call them out though.
Like that. I'm not gonna call them out. I don't like to call people out right there because that's like a shame factor connected to that. But I do see it, and that's not healthy. And I can tell it, but hey, I get it. It's for likes. So, it works. But if for those who really want to do that, if you're looking to go into you're feeling called to I want to actually eat healthier and I want to focus on clients who actually are looking to do that, and maybe you're having more personal development and spiritual, then definitely come see me, because that is what I do. Actually, you probably could even just go through Elevate Your Vibration and you can get a lot of information from that, because I'm also an herbalist as well. I'm a Reiki master. So I use all those components in my program, Elevate Your Vibration. We don't just talk about just the food aspect. I mean, we go into the breathing, we go into herbs, we go into the herbs for the chakras, we go into the herbs for the different organs, we go into what organs hold on to different energy. And so you can understand really what's going on in your body. And so you can learn how to be your own alchemist, and you can go ahead and learn how to master yourself. Because once you know how to do that, you're going to be so in tune with yourself that you'll be able to, like, you will definitely be like the barometer to when other people come into your environment, you'll be able to tell where they're at. You know, and that is the whole purpose for us. Like, I know where I am. So when someone comes in my environment, I can be able to read their energy and know exactly how, like, great, how they're supposed to work, how, like, I can tell. And if there's something I'm picking up, it might be something reflecting on that I need to work on, or it was something in the past. Like, you'll know, your spirit will let you know. As soon as you know you'll know exactly everything around you.
Wow,
and
man.
And that goes into like the food we're eating. I mean, if you're eating food all the time that is super low vibrational, that is processed. And now I know everybody loves them some Chick-fil-A. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A.
I hate
Chick-fil-A, well, a lot of people love Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A just now announced that they're no longer using antibiotic-free chicken, which means that they haven't been for some time. They're just now letting you know that. So that just eating, just, you don't want that kind of chicken. Trust me, trust and believe. If you're going to do something, here's my thing. I don't believe that, like, this whole initiative they're trying to do, no beef and none of that. No, because I understand the agenda that's behind it. The whole global, and it's bad for the environment. No, capitalism is bad for the environment, because we've been having farms with every kind of thing on it, and we've been fine. Like, if you look at a farm, how it's been, a farm has many different, like, fruits. It has different produce on it. And then we have different types of animals. That's biodynamic farming. That is how things should be, not this monocropping, because monocropping actually kills the soil. And that's really what the problem is. And if we look at the more that we push this veganism thing, the more monocropping we're going to have, because now Bill Gates is now the largest landowner in the United States. So that's what they're trying to push. Yes, that's they're trying to push, really, that you're just going to eat food that's processed for you. So I'm not for that. I can cook my own food. If I want to eat meat, I can go to a farm, I can go get it. Really just getting back from that. And if you can't eat as much chicken, well, guess what? Then you just can't eat as much chicken. It's okay. You don't want it. If you go look at that video, How to Eat to Live, or one of those, and really go see how this stuff is being processed. Go see them literally put their arm into this cow that has this thing in them. Like, this is not how we should be eating food like that. Man. It should be raised in a different way. It should be raised by actually people who care about what they're doing, like 3rd, 4th, 5th generation farmers who actually care about what is they're doing. And you'll probably have some people that would say, well, if they cared about them, they wouldn't kill them. Maybe the animal had an agreement when it came into this lifetime that that's what it's going to do. You don't know that. I'm not speaking from a program that was given to you, because most people are just spewing programming and socialization. That's what they're doing right now. I know what I know because I do the internal work. And that's not how everybody's supposed to be eating. And we can go down to even looking people who've been vegan for years, and these certain levels are low, because that's just not how they are supposed to be eating. It doesn't mean that it's bad just for that point in time. They're supposed to eat that way. Then they should go back this way, but they should be going back. If they're going to put those things into their body, they should be going back to putting things that are cleaner. Like, this is from a grass fed, like that fish is actually wild caught and not in a vat in a big old warehouse out in Tennessee or something like that. Right. Like, they have some fish that literally are in these vats, or, so it's just making different choices. And quite honestly, if people would just do a lot of the internal work, what they're telling you on television, you're going to see that a lot of that is programming. You're going to have a different understanding, and you're going to be able to trust yourself and know that. So I know that might seem like, oh, we've gone out, but all of these things actually make a decision into your environment. Your environment is going to determine a lot of what you do. That's why we have certain people who are in the inner cities. They think a particular way, they do a certain thing, and you have other people who don't think that way. But if you start to change what you eat, your internal environment, and then that right there can change that. Like, it's going to affect how much you get paid. Those who are chefs who are watching this, you want to start to get higher quality clients, then you need to change your internal landscape. You have to. I'm telling you from an aspect.
What do you mean by that?
I did. You need to start eating different. You need to start to change your thoughts. You need to start to, like, your internal landscape. If you want higher end clients, and you want to, like, I'm thinking that, well, I don't know, somebody is on here that is a chef. They want better clients. They want to be able to charge more. They want to be able to, and a lot of people are just taking what they're given. If you want to be able to charge what you know you're worth, well, to know your worth, you start like, and I love how you're having whatever this is, eating all that stuff like right there. If you want to have that every once in a while, that's fine. But people eat like that every day. They go get those hot dogs. You can't be it. We're in 2024. You cannot eat like that anymore. You cannot eat like that. Like, well, you can. And there's going to be consequences with it. But if you want to live a higher vibrational life, you want to be traveling, you want to just feel good. You want to wake up and feel good. You don't want to have these like thoughts like, why am I thinking like that? You want to wake up feeling good and being grateful. Then you got to change what you're putting in your body.
The food we eat has an effect on how we think and operate. It
does, because your stomach is really the first brain. It's connected to your brain. What you put in your stomach affects your mood. So yes, it does. So if the food is made with the intention to actually, because we already know that there's certain ecosystems, the ecosystem of food, the food, USDA, all of that is connected to the medical industry. What we know about the medical industry, that's how do you think they're going to get their patients, is because if the food is tainted. So that's already the plan in action. It's not a guessing. That is the plan in action. And so if you are not paying attention to that, and if you don't take sovereignty over that, then how are you going to complain about anything? They need to stop putting this in the food. You need to stop eating it. How about that? Just stop eating it. That's all you have to do. Eat something different.
That's easier said than done, though.
It is easier said than done.
Commercials.
It is, but then you know what? I got a TV in my house. I don't even have Netflix. I don't even have why? Because I can't see it. If it's not going to help me make $50,000 this month, I don't want it. Like, if it's not going to help me get to a trip, or it's not going to really, if it's not going to pour into my spirit to put me in that vibration, then it's not for me. And I've just made that decision. That is a decision. We all have choices and we all have decisions. So you have to make a decision as to really how you want to live, and be okay with the decisions that you make if you choose not to do those things. You can't complain about it.
Now, do you find it easier talking to a older generation or younger generation when it comes to their habits and food and how it's prepared? Or
I think it's both.
Who takes it more serious, you think?
Who takes it more serious? You know what? Both. And it's both. And so there's going to be the older generation that has maybe had a scare or something. Yeah. Of course, they're more open. Like, okay, great. She's talking straight to me. And generally I am, because that's just my energy. I probably am talking to you. And then you have the younger who, like, man, because they're in a different generation, because their level of awareness, there's certain things that they just don't have, like certain traumas that they don't have, that they are not, it's just not going to affect them the same. So they're like more like, okay, great, I want to do this, I'm amped up. And their generation, just like the younger generation, you come talk to them, they're different than like we are. They don't do a lot of the gatekeeping. They're into sharing, and they are differently. Different generations, actually, even when it comes down to the astrology, certain planets are going to have a particular effect on them. That's a whole nother show. We can't get into that, but it just is going to depend.
Hold on for a second. I'm gonna bring you back on my other platform. We're gonna dove into the planetary alignment of the body and talk about those.
I mean, that goes into, because even then that goes into like there still is, but medical astrology. Before you could even be a doctor, before you had to be if you didn't know astrology, you couldn't be a doctor. That was before you even came in. They would say, okay, great. Oh, so you have your knees, this and that. Okay, great. Well, we know Saturn rules the bones. Let's go see where your Saturn is afflicted in your chart. Like, I do medical astrology, so you already know. Like, for me,
the bones. Hold on, Chef. Let us get a pen and paper and make some notes. You said Saturn rules the bones, so
it does.
I would take it that since
bones,
there's 7 planets aligned to all 7 chakras, correct? Would I be correct by saying that?
They are, but then we also have, like, say there's 4 different bodies too. You've got your emotional body, you've got your mental body. Like I said, we will be here going through everything, but Saturn, that was the example that was given to me to use. So yeah, Saturn rules the bones, and I will tell you right now, Saturn is in Pisces. So even water related things, like for me, I'm a Pisces, so I have been having some knee issues. Like, it also rules the teeth as well. So if you're doesn't mean that it's everybody, but if there are some things, like for me, as soon as I started to see some things, I'm like, wait, let me go look at my chart. Oh, that's why. Okay, great. I see exactly why it is. That's just the sun gives life. The sun rules over this. The moon is emotions. Venus is love. Mercury is communication. Mars is aggression and passion. Pluto is deep transformation. All of it, Neptune is, I almost want to say it's a higher octave.
Yeah.
Well, it's dreamy, but it also can be illusion as well. So understanding is basically like an ingredient that we're making this pie, and we have cinnamon, which cinnamon actually is even about abundance. And then we have nutmeg, and we have all these different ingredients that go into this, which makes out something. So when you have astrologers will make certain predictions, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to happen, but here's the recipe. This is what could happen. It's kind of like when we say, great. So we see we've got 70% humidity. We have these winds coming, and it's warm, and we have lightning. There just might be, it's tornado season or it's hurricane season. So that is really what's here. Will it happen? There's a 70% possibility or 80%, but it's not definite, because at the end of the day, we are not the divine creator, if that makes sense. And so that all goes down to the food. All of this, here's the thing, is that everything is connected. And because we've been taught, like, this is different from here, and this is different from here, and then the body is here. No, everything is connected. Like, everything is connected. There is no disconnection from anything, because we can go through, whether it's the red string theory, and tie everything to each other. And when you start to understand that, then you can just have a holistic view and look at things. And you just will, for one, you'll just take a lot of the stress off of you. And then you're actually going to have a bit more compassion towards people. You're just going to be like, you know what? Okay, I'm not even going to stress on that, because it's really out of my control. All I can do is this right here, do it, and then let it be. And like, just hope for the best or put energy on it. But like, you're going to move differently. You're going to act differently. You're going to even choose what you put into your body. Like, okay, great. So this food that is if I go research it coming from McDonald's, we've seen how some of this stuff is made. It's going to eventually cause certain things. And we just have to make better choices. That's just it. And I'm not perfect. I'm even making better choices. I have to become a better version of myself. And that even when it comes to what I do in the kitchen, I'm I've always been very intentional about the food and the energy that I put into the food, down to, there's times when, like, I remember actually a chef, like, she was in a bad mood, and I was like, here, go hold this black kyanite and go sit over there. Like, we're not even bringing that energy into the kitchen. Like, I've always been very intentional about the energy that goes into the food, and that goes into that, because that's just how I operate in my life. Like, I'm looking, it does not mean I'm perfect, but I'm very aware, I'm aware of these things.
On Dr. Sebi and his methodology.
I think that Dr. Sebi's methodology works. I think that it works, but I don't think it's the absolute. I don't think anything is, the thing is that nothing is the absolute. No religion is the absolute, because that means that yours is right and everybody else is wrong. It's not, because somebody over there can be doing something that works for them. So how can you tell them that yours is the only way? It's like, there is no only way, period, right, on anything. There is no only way. There is no only way. Does it work for you? Okay. And then there might be a point in time, we might go through a different transit, or you might have some kind of crisis in your life where you have more stress. And guess what? You can't eat those things anymore, because now they used to work for you. Now they're working against you. You need to go ahead and change to something else, because your internal environment and your external environment has changed. So there's so many different, it's levels to it, as they say. Like, and that's why you have to look and see where someone's at. Like, some people might ask me, what can I eat this? I really don't know even what are your objections? What are you looking to do? How are you feeling? Right. Like, I go through and when I talk to someone and I assess them, and then I also just energetically, I see where they're at. Then I can just give my insights and recommendations. I don't do advice, because advice is adding to your vices. I just do insights and recommendations.
Okay, words. I love it. So, question for you. Mm-hmm. As far as the culinary industry, where do you foresee the culinary industry headed in the next 3 to 5 years? And, kind of considered the evolving consumer preferences, technology advancement, and global trends. What do you see?
I think there's gonna be a split. There's gonna be a split right now. Hold on. Because I don't want to speak like what I'm thinking. I'm gonna give you what's coming through me. I don't like to do thinking, because man's thoughts destroy things. So what is coming through is there's going to be a split. There's going to be a split just just within everything, but there's going to be those who still want and crave convenience, who that is their program, and they do not have the willpower to change it. and they're okay with that, or even maybe they're not okay with it, and that's what they're choosing. And so they're going to choose convenience. They're going to keep on doing those different things. And then you're going to have those that, no, I don't want to do that. I actually want a different. I'm actually now connected to the earth. I want to do what's better. I'm not even attuned to that frequency of eating or that lifestyle anymore. I'm actually going to make a change. And it's not, some people it will happen all at once. Some people it will be gradually, but they're going to choose to go more towards a high vibrational realm. And they're going to be those who are going to choose basically something that is going to devolve them, it's not evolving. You're either evolving or you're devolving, one of the two. There is no staying. There is no like, I'm just going to be chilling in the middle. No, you're either devolving or you're evolving. So you're going to have, people are going to make that choice. And if you're evolving, you're going to be looking at just higher vibrational foods. You're going to be looking to eat more living foods. You're going to be paying attention to even how you're consuming the foods, where the foods are coming from. You're going to be consuming even what's going on with the environment. And you're going to just, those are the two directions I see. There is going to be no in between, because that's, if you're choosing that realm, then you're just going to evolve. So that's how I see it going. And I see that when it comes to chefs, you're going to have chefs that are going to definitely pick up more on the energy and the chakras. You're going to have more chefs that are going to start to do this. And then you're going to have chefs that are going to stay where they've been, because that's where they're comfortable. And they're just going to continue to do what they've been doing. And that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. Even when I do what I do with cooking classes or whatever the case is, I've seen other chefs do cooking classes as well. But just like you, when people pay for my cooking classes, they're not just getting experience. They're gonna get a whole earful of information they never heard before, because I'm super hyper aware of the conditions that our people face, and everybody for that matter, not just our people, particularly people of color, the struggles we face when it comes to dietary. But not only that, kind of like the whole mind, body, and soul experience. And I think that my part is kind of like, compared to where you are with the information, I understand what you're saying. My passion is to probably like a prep class, like a 9-9 class before you go to Chefpreneur class. Take my 9-9 class. Because by the time you go to her course, it's like physics. So get ready for it.
It's not, see, you're like, it's because it's simple, because I really speak in energy. So you're going to feel it, Lily. It's like you're going to walk into, I create this portal of energy, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to get it. It's not even super advanced, quite honestly. It's really connecting with your heart. And a lot of people, they have a problem. We've had a problem because we have not been programmed this way to connect with our heart and to really listen to that feminine aspect of ourselves. So that's really what we're going to get back into. And then you're just going to get into just a knowing. Most people say, well, I don't know why I do that. I'm saying, no, you do. So let's get into let's actually let's change that. Say the words, I don't quite have the words to speak to describe why I do that. They're like, yeah, that's a difference. There's a difference between those two, because you do, but you've been programmed to say that, but you do know. Like, we've been programmed to say we have 5 senses. No, we don't, because there's a sense of humor. There's a sense of, hey, there's common sense. Everybody don't have common sense, because guess what? They said they only have 5 senses. There is the 5 clairs, which deal with your psychic senses, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, like all these different, we have them. But if you kept saying you don't have them, then you're shutting them down. I have all of them. I am like, yes, let's activate. I have them all, and I engage them every day.
Tell people, part of the things I teach is your inner senses is also important. We have our outer senses, which is the touch, smell, and see. And then your inner senses, which is the intuition. Okay, your imagination, like those inner also.
Those are connected to your shot. Yeah, that's third eye right there. Intuition, imagination, third eye, your gut. Like, so yeah, so we just, it's a reprogramming that has to happen. That's why it's called television programming. So if you're watching television, that's the program you're on.
Could people reach out to you for like meal plans or things of that nature, or you particularly just?
Well, you can. You just need to be able to invest in yourself. You can reach out to me. It's just it's an investment. It's not like, let me get a $20 meal plan. Like it's an investment, because it's not, depending upon what it is that you're looking for. Otherwise, I mean,
have your money right, y'all. Just have your money right when you call Chef.
Exactly, because it's an investment. It's an investment,
and
I'm not most certainly, but also this is something that is going to transform your life. Otherwise, you can go to ChatGPT and go tell them to give you a meal plan. I mean, if you want a meal plan, go do that. Hey, I want a Mediterranean meal plan for 3 days or for 5 days or whatever. I want to eat like this.
And shopping list. Say shopping list. It'll give you the whole situation.
It will give you that. But if you want something a little bit, because that is still a machine, if you want something beyond that, that's going to give you exactly what you need at this moment, because you've already tried all the other things. I'm sure you've already tried everything else and it's not working because it's beyond the physical. Then you come see me, or maybe you want to go to a retreat. Come fill out the form. There's a form. There's an interview process. You're not just popping in a retreat. It's an interview process. Yes, you're not. Hey, I signed up. I got the money. Fill out the form. We'll interview.
Oh,
yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It is, because your energy might not be correct there. Like, I just want to make sure that I have the right energy, because I am literally there. All the women who are there have entrusted me to create this space of transformation. So I need to make sure that I vet everyone. It doesn't mean everything's perfect, because I've had some people like, okay, I guess that's part of their healing process. But I have to make sure of that. I just don't. Mm-hmm.
How many people do you usually host at your retreats?
The last retreat, we have like 12 people. Usually there's no bigger group than maybe 15, and that includes those who are there, like other facilitators, but generally around 12 people.
Is it done on purpose to keep it small? Like you're not.
Well, I do not want it big. I wouldn't do that. And if I were to do it bigger, it might grow into something bigger, but I still would have the small ones, because the small ones are really like just where the magic happens. And I would change the structure. But for right now, they're small, they're intimate. I host my retreats. Well, I would say my flagship retreat is hosted in St. Lucia. Elevate Your Vibration. Like, it is amazing. If you go to my page, I got a video there. Like, you just will see, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Like, the women, the transformation. If you go to my stories today, you'll just see a little bit. I've dripped out a few little things. Yeah, if you go to my page, it's I think I have it pinned at the top. If you go to my IG page, but yes, so it's held in St. Lucia. Yep, that's it right there. You gotta log in. Yeah, you guys see, just like you got to fill out a form to go on my retreat. You got to log in and see my page.
I gotta log in there.
And so, but yeah, so the retreats, literally, it's and it's not just vegan. It's actually, but we have like literally fish that's caught. Like, I go to they catch it. Like, it's not in the store. Like, I know the fishermen. The fruit is from my driver. Like, they have a farm. Like, I know all of my vendors who I deal with. Like, the villa that we're at. Like, literally, when I tell you this island was made for transformation, when I first went in 2019, like, the island was like, this is where your first retreat is going to be, and that's exactly where it was. And yes, it's just an amazing experience. We go to the world's only drive-through volcano. Like, you drive in, like, you're inside. You go into the it's called Sulphur Springs. Into, like, literally, it feels like a jacuzzi, but it just has the sulfur and the mud in there. And not only do you feel amazing, your skin is just like super soft after that. And yeah, so that right there, that 3 days, that little window that you just popped off of. If you guys want to join me, want to get a taste of what I do at the retreat and just what I do, then you guys should sign up. It's going to be on the 22nd. Elevate Your Vibration, a 3-day, and this is actually free. So you might want to do this one right here.
This is free?
It's free, but you have to show up. Like, you're paying with your energy. You're investing your time, which your time is very valuable. So it is free. I'm showing up for you. So it has a food alchemy class one day. It's a 3-day food alchemy class. Then we get into some of the inner work, breath work. And then, of course, I have an offer at the end of it if you want to continue. But the 3 days is free. So you can come. We're going to cook together. I'm going to show you how to make some really good, high quality, raw, vegan food that's high vibrational, that tastes amazing. And you're going to feel how different you feel in 3 years. If you've been waiting for that breakthrough, this is going to do it. Because this is what I do. This is what I create. I am a transformation agent. This is what I do. One of my mediums is food. That's how I use it. But
how many retreats have you done to date so far?
I've done 2 retreats, and I've hosted with other people on their retreats. I've hosted maybe like 7 other retreats.
Wow.
Where I've been brought in like as to do the food component and to bring in the food alchemy.
Gotcha. Total transformation through food.
Yes. Total. So because that's the foundation. That's our root chakra. So I start with the food. Come for the food, stay for the transformation. We take it everywhere else.
Gotcha. I have another question for you. So
yes.
For aspiring chefs and culinary entrepreneurs, what advice would you offer them to help them navigate the complexities of the industry and pursue their passions effectively?
Okay, that was a mouthful. What advice would I give them? Or what insight would I give them is first and foremost, to navigate this industry, really being clear on who you want to serve. Like, these are the clients that I want to work with. Why do you want to work with them? And what are you providing? Like, what is the experience that you're providing with them? Be clear on like your why and your who and all of that. And then you want to make sure, like, these are what my rates are. And maybe you might have a point to where I can work with it, but make sure that you have, this is my rate. I will not go below this rate, and having faith that God has you, that divine creator has you, because you're only going to pigeonhole yourself after that. They're always going to know never going to come in. You can't go back up after that. As soon as you go down at that rate, you can't go back up the next time they call you. They're going to be like, no, because last time you said this amount, and they don't care about inflation. So you need to make sure that you're comfortable with the rate that you give. Even if you want to go low, be comfortable at that rate. Don't do it and resent it, because guess what? It's going to come out. They're going to do something. You're really going to put that energy out, and it's going to amplify, and something's going to come back to where it's going to come back, and you're going to end up putting your foot in your own mouth, because that's just how universal law works. And you want to see if you can reach out to a mentor. It might be Chef Ponder, it might be me, might be someone else who's doing who's done what you've done, or who is doing what you're doing. And so that you can just get some, not even just like, I would say even working with them. And I'm not sure how different mentors have different ways you work with them. Sometimes you can check on someone. Sometimes it might be a fee, because that's their time and that's their expertise. And we've done the mistake. So understand that, be willing to invest in yourself, and
that's the main thing.
Stay true to your heart. Like, really stay true to your heart. You know, that's it. And then, like, the game plan, like for me, I'm big even on meditation, like visualization. Like, okay, great. So this is what I'm desiring to do. Like, okay, so let me meditate on or visualize. First, for what I do first is I visualize. I visualize, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be doing this. Like, I visualize it, I feel it. And then I'll get like just hunches, downloads, even writing down, okay, great. So let me find out, so maybe I can find out who their publicist is or their manager is, and I can reach out and just send them a message. Great, I've seen this. I would love to work with them. Here's my work. There's different ways on working out and just starting to build that network within the industry. So those are things, I think those are solid. If you follow those, that's like a really good springboard to go from right there. And a lot of things will start to reveal themselves. Or you'll reach out to one of us and, you'll get some more assistance. But that's a good foundation to get to the next level, But yeah, be solid on who you are, who you want to serve, and your rates and stuff, and you're gonna be good. Like, that's force. Like, know that this is. If you go below that rate, you're gonna be pissed. Don't do it. Just stick. Don't stick to that. Stick to that, because you're gonna get tested. As soon as you say you're not gonna go below, there's going to be a test that's going to come. Trust me, you're going to be tested. But make sure that you're solid. Like, I'm good if I say my day rate. Standing on your business, standing on your square, however you want to say it. That is what you need to do, and everything will evolve. Doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges, but I can tell you, if you can stand on what your business, if you can stand on what it is that if you can stand on the word that you've held with yourself, then others will stand on your word as well.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. And final question is, in your expertise, what are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned as a chef and entrepreneur that have helped you overcome obstacles? Like, I'm pretty sure, which, we all mess up or whatever the case is. Out of those lessons, what are some nuggets you can pass on that may encourage other chefs as well?
Man,
your mistakes.
I would say, like, just be honest on like the timing or what it takes. Like, because a lot of times we overestimate, or we want to get this so bad. We say we can do this, and that, and we really can't. And we haven't really taken the time to like really think about it and just to give it some thought and to give an honest, like, so great, like, actually it's going to cost this amount and I'm going to need this amount of time, versus you giving yourself half the time and saying it's going to cost half, and then you're in a predicament and you're going to be more upset with yourself.
Yep.
And so making sure that, you can say, like, okay, it's going to take me 2 hours, and maybe they want somebody who can do it in an hour, go let them find the other person. Because
Yeah.
like if you already know that it can't be done in that amount of time,
Don't even
somebody
put it. Yeah.
or somebody's just going to give them something can. But just stay like know what's best for you. Hey, that's just a lot of people. I cut corners in places, but certain things I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Like it's just not. Go get somebody. You should go get somebody else because I can't do it. I know that is not my ministry. So I would definitely say that. And reflecting on the mistakes you've made so that you don't make them going forward, and be honest with yourself. Well, this happened and that it did, but. So what's the common denominator? It's you. So as soon as we look at us, like look in the mirror and say, okay, great. So this is the area that I know I need help in, or this, I keep doing this and I'm mad that I keep doing it. I need help in this area. Like it's just really having to be honest with ourselves. And I know it because we've been yelled at or we've been told all these different things. So we don't want to hear that. And I would say, even especially with my people, with melanated people, we don't want to hear the constructive criticism or whatever, because we have been talked to so bad. Like this is also an intergenerational thing. Like it's in your DNA, but having that honest reflection with yourself is going to change so many different things.
I agree. Chef Ameera.
And it's Ameera.
Ameera. I'm saying Ameera. Ameera. Chef Ameera. Thank you for correcting me.
You're welcome.
Chef Ameera, listen, it's been an honor. It's been wonderful chopping it up with you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you're busy. Because I see you being busy. Like, this is everywhere. This
happens to be a lovely time. Like this is like Lily, my nervous system has been recalibrating itself. I'm just in the process of like new beginnings, and so it was the perfect time to do this. So even before when you contacted me, no, I didn't have time. But I do have time. Divine timing, yeah, and trust that. Trust divine timing. Trust divine timing. Always show up. Give your all. Do not do anything. If I gotta do it, I ain't doing it.
Listen. Divine. I've been trying it like couple of months. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a few months. I've been reaching out here and there. We've been missing one another here and there through Instagram. There had to be a freaking eclipse for me to get Chef Ameera on here. When they say
it's been some time.
When the stars aligned, the stars had aligned on the 8th. I said, I want you on the 9th because the stars aligned. It's a sign.
And I didn't even think about like the eclipse being on Monday. And because if I had thought about it, I'd have been like, oh no, let me go ahead. It's going to be in the energy. So I'm glad that we actually did this today, because the rest of the week I have things that I'm doing. So,
okay. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it.
And I'm just going to let people know, if you guys want to find me, let me just go ahead and reiterate that again.
Please.
My website is www.chefameera, like on the marquee right there, chefameera.com. I'm on Instagram at Chef Ameera, on Facebook at Chef Ameera. I'm everywhere at Chef Ameera. You can find me at Chef Ameera. And if you want to join me on on the 5th? No, it's on the 22nd. Elevate your vibration. 3-day. It's really an energetic reset. It's going to be great. Raw food, breathing. Like, you guys want this. If you've been looking for a breakthrough, just go ahead and sign up. Show up for yourself. And you're going to see, what happens when you actually keep your word to yourself and you show up daily. I'm going to give you tools. You're going to use the tools and you're going to see what happens in 3 days. And imagine if you do that for the rest of your life or even for the rest of the month, like light years.
Speak it.
Yes.
Speak it.
Yes.
I love it. Again, it's been an honor. I appreciate you, Chef. I'm gonna probably circle back with you sometime next week through email and send you an invite for something. I'm putting together something in August. I'm putting together a conference, and I need panelists.
Just don't do it. Don't do it through the time of my retreat. My retreat's in August. My retreat is from the. I'll let you know. Do it at the beginning of August. Do it at the beginning of August. So there you go.
I just slide to September, so I know you're really good.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. I say just because, I'm putting together. I have my retreat in. I'm going early. I'm staying later. Like, I go early to get in. I have the retreat. I stay later to depress and then have my fun. Okay. And so. Okay, so you come back September fully charged and ready. But I'm gonna get a panel of some phenomenal people on this panel, because it's been on my spirit for a few years to call together the chefs that I know personally, great people who have literally got it out the mud, and they're doing phenomenal numbers and all kinds of stuff now. And I mentioned it to them maybe last year about doing this conference. It's like, let me know. People like Chef JR, familiar with him? Kitchen Cray? Kitchen Cray. You know what? I don't know him, but I do love what he does. There's a few chefs that I've had on my radar that I'm going to reach out to that I haven't.
Brilliant.
But yes, I love what they're doing.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I even have questions as to how, like, as I'm transitioning. So yeah, there are some chefs that are literally on my list that I'm like, let me reach out to these chefs and just see, because everybody isn't open, so it's all good.
What you're right.
No, everybody's not. It's okay. You don't need to be. You know.
What I do also is try to pick your brain on how to make it more. I'm not gonna say a chef's retreat. I don't want to do a chef retreat, but it's definitely gonna be a conference weekend, and I do want to offer some other things, you know, throughout the weekend that we can get into as chefs, just kind of clear our vibrations and kind of reset our minds. So, but I'll talk more with you about that in the future.
This is gonna be in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
I already have a vision on something great. I got a download on it. So yeah, let's talk.
Got it. We're gonna talk about it on air. It might steal it.
I'm not talking. I said let's
don't tell them.
Well, no, I mean, if nobody can never steal that, but I already know, like Lily from this what popped in. I'm like, oh, perfect. This is the perfect thing I can present to this person, because yeah, I saw it. When I see it, it happens.
Okay, listen. Hold the line. Thank you again, Chef. Tell everybody where to find you at one more time.
Oh, you can find me. You guys can find Chef Ameera at www.chefameera.com. IG, Chef Ameera, TikTok, everything else, Chef Ameera. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you're able to get some gems from this talk.
Thank you, Chef. I appreciate it. Hold backstage for about 4 minutes. Let me clear the mic. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chef. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chef Ameera in the building. Listen, go follow her right now. Go follow her page. Go follow her Instagram. She's doing phenomenal work. For all my female chefs out there who need a mentor, guidance, maybe some insight questions on how to put stuff together properly, definitely I 100% recommend her. I co-sign for what she do. She does some really great work. Definitely had to have her on the show. And I got other great chefs coming up too in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, subscribe, share this. You're on my YouTube network. Subscribe, click the bell, click notification. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook Live, wherever you're watching this at. If you have a chef friend, a culinarian, somebody's in the food service industry, please share this. I'm gonna keep this going and go straight ahead with it, because I think it's something that's definitely needed in the industry, and I'm here for it. So Chefpreneur Academy, be sure to follow, email, subscribe. If you go to my website, you can get the workbook. The workbook is definitely available right now. And schedule some time with me. One-on-one chat. You want to hop on a Zoom call with me? I do offer that selection. Hop on a one-on-one Zoom call to chop it up with me. So yeah, shoot me an email. Let's talk. Follow me. Chef Ponder. I'm out. Thank you.